Going on, Falcon fan? This War Thunder coming back at you with another video. Yes, guys, you can see I got to come back today because I had to talk about this topic. It's been going around on Twitter all day about our front office. Of course, you cannot believe everything you see here, or news on Twitter. However, looking at something that Zach Klein said, Joe Schultz said, and that's about the president CEO Rich McKay of the Atlanta Falcons and how much influence that he actually have in this Atlanta Falcon franchise, and is he the one that's actually going to make sure that the Atlanta Falcons get the right coach in here, right? We don't know who that coach going to be. We still are, seeing the Atlanta Falcons requesting second interviews with different head coaches around here. Reported that actually Raheem Morris is doing his second interview today, so we'll get word about that, how that went as well. But also you heard about Bobby Slovic actually getting requested another interview. I think his interview is going on Thursday. They say, according to reports, his first interview was very impressive. The front office and the staff really liked what he had to say, so he's definitely getting a second interview. Of course, Mike McDonald is another guy that from the Ravens. Anthony Weaver, of course, the two Detroit Lions coordinators as well has also been requested to get a second interview. So that's where we're at. We know that Brian Shanahan is now the coach for the Tennessee Titans. It's seeming like Jim Harbaugh might be signing with the Los Angeles Chargers. So it's starting to get down to the point where these Atlanta Falcons really need to start making a decision, because what's going to happen is they're going to have to start taking, guys that's left over, right? And then they're going to try to sell us that, yeah, we had that guy. That's the best guy we wanted, because you're starting to lose out on guys. It reported that Ben Johnson actually might be a deal in the Commander. So if some of these guys that you guys was clamoring about, guys like a Ben Johnson, guys like a Bobby Slovic, if he interviewed somebody else, and if he as impressive as some people were saying, just like a Brian Callahan, right? They might not let him out the door. So those are kind of things you got to think about. You got to consider the Falcons. I appreciate the due diligence. We talked about it yesterday that the Atlanta Falcons are really putting into, this search. But at some point in time, they're going to have the most extensive search in NFL history. What it looks like they're going to be at the end. They'll be on interview almost 15 coaches, and what are they exactly looking for? That's what you got to find out. I know they're trying to find, the best guy, but at some point in time, like, you're gonna miss out and get the second guy, because you're twiddling your thumb and things like that. So that's where I'm at with it. And then this report come out about Rich McKay, and I just got to talk about it. So, guys, with that being said, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the like button, hit the share button. Let me know what you guys think about what I talk about here on this channel. Please share my video throughout the YouTube universe, and please let everybody know that I always be talking about these Atlanta Falcons. So let's get into it, guys. Like I said, it's been reported that the Rich McKay has all the confidence in the world, from Arthur Blank. So he respects him. He's the voice and all that. He's saying that if any coach is going to come in, it's probably going to be because Rich McKay has signed off on it, right? And I'm gonna be honest with you, I have a problem with that. I just have a problem with that. You hire a general manager for a reason. You're the owner, right? If you're gonna put all the chips in on Rich McKay, mind you, right? Rich McKay has been with this organization since 2003, right? Since 2003, right? What has the Atlanta Falcons done in that time span? They have not had a winning culture. Yes, they have had winning seasons. They have had some success since that time, but he was the general manager before Thomas Dimitrov got there. He was let go. Reportedly, Arthur Blank decided to keep him on to help, with the Mercedes-Benz Stadium and things like that. He wanted back into the football operations. He came back in to be the president. Of course, he created a structure where the coach and the GM reports to him, so on and so forth. Now, if that's the way he wants it, and he has to have that be dictated that you're going to report to me, you're going to let me know what's going on, and you got some of these veteran coaches like, well, we're running the show. The GM and the coach should be running the show, not a guy that, because to him, he really let these guys do what they need to do. So what is his purpose behind all this? Why does he have to be a voice in this at all? I understand that Arthur Blank, he respects him and things like that, but this is the problem. This is the problem when organizations, businesses, corporations, everything, when they decide to stick to what they know, right? This is our issue. All these years since 2003, the Atlanta Falcons only had a winning culture with a 5-year span. They had 5 winning seasons with Matt Ryan. That's the most winning we ever did, since Rich McKay been here. These last 7 seasons, right? We haven't did anything, right? The last 5 seasons, we haven't even made the playoffs. We haven't even been over 500. So I'm trying to factor in why would he have so much voice to the point where you don't want to make changes. Maybe it needs to start at the top, right? Sometimes change needs to start up top so you can make the better changes, within the organization. That's where it needs to be, right? Yes, Rich McKay has a lot of experience. He's, top of the committee, the for the NFL. I get all that, but at the end of the day, whatever contributions he has had with Atlanta Falcon, it has not paid dividends, right? If he's been part of our last 2 coaches search, and look where we're at right now, right? Dan Quinn here for 6 seasons. We had 3 winning seasons. First season went 8-8, made it to the Super Bowl, made it to the divisional round. Then we had 3 losing seasons back to back to back, right? In my opinion, I just don't understand why would Rich McKay have so much power, in this organization. Why would Rich McKay be the one to determine whether or not who will be the next head coach for the Atlanta Falcons, right? Yes, and I just don't like it. I feel like if Rich McKay has his way, he's going to bring in a guy that he can control. It gives me the Dallas Cowboy vibes with Jerry Jones. It really do. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that a guy who's not going to be responsible for calling no plays, don't supposed to be responsible for no personnel decisions, but be responsible for deciding who's going to be making those calls. And you want them to be able to be your puppet, right? That's the reason why coaches and GMs like to have the autonomy to go out and do the things they need to do. They're the ones going to get fired. They're the ones jobs on the line. So why not give these guys opportunity to be able to lead their franchises, be able to go out and make the personnel decisions, right? If it don't pan out, they understand that because they're going to be hold to the fire anyway. But if you got a shadow GM that's in the weeds, really running the show, why not just make him the GM, right? Because he get the authority to be the dictate what goes on with the organization, but at the same time, he's not the one that's taking all the brunts and hits and things. And now we wonder why Terry Fontenot was not at the press conference, because probably that's how Rich McKay wanted it, right? I don't like the way this sounds to me. it sounds like I said, a little like the Cowboys in my sense. I know Jerry Jones is the one that's pulling the strings over there, but if Arthur Blank is letting Rich McKay pull everything and he's making all the decisions, and no coach, no seasoned coach would want to come work for the organization because of that. Where do they lead the Atlanta Falcons? Where does that lead the Atlanta Falcons? I know you guys are so high on all these young coaches, and I hope if we do hire a young coach, these guys can really be successful. But if you bring in a young coach and they don't succeed, who's to blame for it? Is it Terry Fontenot? Is it the young coach fault? Right? I'm just going to put it like this, and I really believe this. You know, the Atlanta Falcons get all this, all this criticism for not going after Lamar Jackson, right? Get all this criticism for going after Deshaun Watson. Get all this criticism for, how they did Matt Ryan, let him go, and all this stuff. If the Atlanta Falcons decide to pass up on the second winningest coach in the NFL, I don't care about his record. I don't care about whatever you guys say. If they pass up on Bill Belichick, where he wants to coach the team because of some kind of structure within the front office, and your next coach that you bring in is not successful, Arthur Blank gonna look like a straight up idiot. I'm just telling you right now. You get ready for it. If the Atlanta Falcons, Arthur Blank, decide not to go get the second winningest coach in NFL, and he wants to be here because of some kind of structural, because of the dynamic with the front office and the leadership, and that's the only reason why. If they feel that he's not the kind of coach they want, or he can't do it anymore, he can't get it done, I understand. But if it's because of the way it's structured within the front office and how the head coach wants to run the team to try to get us successful, I don't think that's a good enough reason why. I mean, that's going to be asinine in my opinion. And like I said, he hasn't interviewed with anybody else. Obviously, he wants to be the head coach for the team. Obviously, he came back twice for mutual interviews. They had mutual interest with each other. They sat down and talked. If it's about football, if it's a football reason why how they think his vision to get this team to the next level is not going to be the case, I understand. But if it has anything to do because Rich McKay wants the coach to report to him, that's not good business. I'm sorry. That's not good business at all. And in my opinion, it's the wrong way to have the approach, because it sounds like he just want a puppet, right? If that's the case, we don't know for sure if that's the situation. But if the situation is because the structure and Rich McKay was like, you're going to report to me, you're not reporting straight to the owner, and that's the way it got to be, and that's the reason why you don't go out and get a seasoned coach. That's the reason why you miss out on the Jim Harbaugh. That's the reason why you miss out on the Bill Belichick. I'm just telling you guys, we already the laughing stock of the NFL. Every time something happens, right? I can promise you this. Just mark my word. If Lamar Jackson wins on Sunday, and the next tweet gonna be, and Atlanta Falcons did not want Lamar Jackson, right? We got to hear that over and over again. We got to hear that over and over again. Now, we go out and we get our new coach, whoever it may be, right? And he started to struggle. You can see it around. Yeah, and the Atlanta Falcons didn't want Bill Belichick. They thought I'm telling you, it's going to happen. And because we got Rich McKay, this the reason why they don't want to do it, because Rich McKay is in the front office. That's asinine. We have this culture. Like, I don't understand why people think that we've been successful. We have not been successful. We have not been successful during this time. We have not. So why not make a change? Do something different. What do you have to lose? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What do we have to lose? Right? Rich McKay been here since 2003. And if he's the reason why coaches don't want to come because he does not want to give up a so-called power that he supposedly have, and he has the ear of the owner, I think that's the wrong decision. I really believe that's the wrong decision. And I just don't like it. To me, this whole coaching thing, if that's what's going on in in the Atlanta Falcon organization, I think that's not good business. It's not good business sense because one person wants to have the power, and this one person supposedly does not have say on what's going on. You have the general manager supposedly. This is what they saying is over the personnel decisions. If that's the case, and the coach is over the coaching the team, why do they have to report to a middleman? Why do they have to report to a shadow GM? Why is that the case? I just don't understand. And if that's the reason why coaches are reluctant to actually be head coaches for the Atlanta Falcon organization, this organization is not as good as I thought it was. It's structural issues in the organization that need to be addressed. And the reason why, maybe that's why we can't get anything done, because maybe our coaches, our general managers are being undermined, and we were not aware of that, because you got a shadow GM pulling all the strings. If that's the case, that's not good business. It's not a winning culture, because we already seen it over 20 years now. It's 21 years. Been here since 2003. For 21 years, the Atlanta Falcons have not been sustained a winning culture at all. And if he's the guy that's pulling all the strings behind the scenes and dictating who becomes the next coach for the Atlanta Falcons, it's not good business. I'm just saying. I mean, what the good decision has he made? If anybody can tell me what the good decision has he made, right? He's over the competition committee, right? I don't know. He helped build the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, right? He could stay with the organization, but he need to get out the way. Let the general manager and the head coach run the team. That's how most organizations are set up, right? Except the Dallas Cowboys. And like I said, this reeks the Cowboy culture where Jerry Jones is pulling out the string. That's why he wants a puppet coach, right? You're not going to get a puppet coach coming in telling you that your ideas. You the one got to put the players on the field. You the one got to coach. You need to be able to dictate the players you want, how you want to coach them, how you going to run your organization. That's what it needs to be. And I'm not saying get rid of Terry Fontenot. Terry Fontenot is the general manager. Let him run that piece. Let the coach run the coaching piece. Whoever have control over the 53-man roster, they can work that out. But if you got a shadow GM at the top dictating everything, that's not good business, man. I'm telling you, it's not good business. And if Arthur Blank is putting all his ducks on the line, listening to everything, the so-called, the true GM of the Atlanta Falcons, because that's what's happening. That's not good business. I don't think that the Atlanta Falcons is going to have success. And I'm telling you this, mark my words. If the Atlanta Falcons pass up on Bill Belichick, because this is what I'm saying, because of some kind of structure with the front office, because they refuse to give him to get Rich McKay out the way, not Terry Fontenot, just to get Rich McKay out the way. If that's the reason why they don't hire Bill Belichick, that's bad business. If it does not have anything to do with football, the way he wants to build a team, the vision with the team, he's willing to work with our general manager to build this team the correct way. And it's all because they got Rich McKay there. That's not good business. I'm just saying it. I had to come on here tonight. I had to talk about it because, like, to me, I think that's just not the way to do a business, right? You got the owner. Go back to look at all of the franchises. You have the owner, then you have the general manager, right? In this organization, you got the owner, you got the president, CEO, or whatever, and they got to report to him and let him know what their decisions are. They the ones getting fired. They the ones making decisions. Arthur Blank, Rich McKay, all these guys signed off on Desmond Ridder, right? They signed off on Desmond Ridder. But when it came to the end of the season, it was all Arthur Smith's fault. They fired Arthur Smith. It was all his fault. Seems like to me that they was on board with it and they don't want to take no culpability of it because I just give recommendations. I don't have anything to say. Now it's been reported that you're going to be the deciding factor of who be the head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. I just don't like that. I'm definitely interested to see how you guys feel about it, but to me, that's just not good business. I always believe if you want a leader, if you put a guy in leadership position, you let him lead the team. If he fails because it was his decisions he made. He didn't have to get recommendations from the shadow GM or this the best way to go. I don't think that's the best route to go. No, he made the decisions because at the end of the day, it's his job on the line, right? He's the one who's going to be counting for the wins and the losses and things like that. Terry Fontenot and whoever the coach needs to be, whoever the next coach going to be, needs to run the Atlanta Falcons football operation, the GM and the coach, right? And they need to report to the owner. That's what needs to happen, right? If that's what's happening, and I'm not 100% sure that's what's happening, but it's been reported that that's what's happening. If that's the case, I think it's not good business, and I'm kind of worried about the next head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. I really am. I'm really like, who's it going to be, and is it making it because they're going to placate to the things that he wants, because this is the structure that he has in place, instead of taking a step back and letting these guys make their own decisions. So that's where I'm at with it. Really interested to see what you guys got to say about it. You said we was never getting Lamar. I 100% agree we was never getting Lamar, but they won't let it go. They won't let it go. They will not let it go. But I can tell you this: we got a chance to get Bill Belichick though, and I promise you, watch what happens. It's gonna. I don't know which outlet's going to say it first, but they're going to say Atlanta Falcons had a chance to hire Bill Belichick, and they passed up on it. That's what it's going to say. That's what it's going to say. What's going on, Ricondo? And we don't know how true these rumors are about Rich McKay because we're not in the building. I agree. Like I said, I don't know if this is the case. I said if it's happening, I agree with you 100%. We don't know. It's been reported. That's what's out there, but it's going around. It's going around, and it's starting to pick up steam. That's the case. What's going on, and not just on Twitter, on some. Not to the point where it's Mr. Rich McKay, but they were saying the front office decisions is really what's holding up some of these coaches. So you're right. I'm not saying this is the fact, because we really don't know what's going on. What's going on with Millie Mills? I don't believe McKay is the man control power over the team and getting to say so who is the head coach. I hope not. I agree with you. I hope that's the case. I hope that's the case, man. I just hope that's the case. I just hope that the case it is. I mean, you got to remember he was the GM, and then Arthur Blank removed him from the GM when he hired Thomas Dimitrov. If you guys recall that, right? And then he went away from football side and he was working on the stadium and things like that. Then he wanted to come back in. That's how it happened. He came back in the fold after Mercedes-Benz Stadium was done. Rich McKay came back into the football operations. That's where Rich McKay came back in, right? So he came back in with a Dan Quinn, after the Super Bowl, of course Arthur Smith. That's when he came back into the mix, and that's the way they want to run it. We'll just have to see how this turn out. Ron said they should see this old ish they've been doing isn't working. It's time for a change, new era. McKay being that's what I'm saying. Like I just all I want to say is that, like, if you're looking at the Atlanta Falcons organization and you're saying that it's a model, it's a great organization. Yes, they are good for the community. They have did a lot of good things for the city of Atlanta. But when it comes to football, they have failed. It's just that simple. They have not been a good football run organization. They have not sustained a winning organization. That's a fact. So you need to mix it up, and it probably need to start at the top, right? You can't fire the owner. The owner's there, but you can start and make some changes. Like maybe that's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. We don't know the truth what's going on, but it's not like this Atlanta Falcons. It's got like we're gonna mess up our winning ways if we make changes. Maybe we need to make some changes. That's how we start to get some wins. Did Jim Harbaugh have a second interview today? Jim Harbaugh had an interview with the Chargers today, and it's reported like those talks are heating up. I don't think the Chargers are going to let Jim Harbaugh leave without giving him a contract. So that's where that's at with Jim Harbaugh. I think Jim Harbaugh is probably, and it was being reported that they started to talk about staff and things like that. His GM, who his GM going to be. So it's starting to heat up for Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers, and more than likely, if that's where he's going to go, that's what's been reported. We don't know 100%. We don't know if he's still going to let the Atlanta Falcons get a second interview or not. But like I said, it's been reported that the Chargers already made him a lucrative offer. If that's the case, they might not let him leave without signing that thing. So we'll just have to see. We'll keep updates and seeing what's going on with Jim Harbaugh. We do know that the Atlanta Falcons, and I talked about this earlier, they requested a second interview with Bobby Slowick, which they're going to have on Thursday. They're actually having a second interview with Raheem Morris today. They requested a second interview with McDonough and Weaver, and also Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. So those are the coaches that they got second interviews with. So we don't know when those going to take place, especially with the four coaches that's still in the championship games that's coming up this weekend. Maybe it's next week because it's a break between, the Super Bowl. It's a week break between the Super Bowl and the game. So that maybe be when they be able to get McDonough, Weaver, Johnson, and Glenn. Maybe that's when they schedule those meetings. So maybe we might not even hear nothing this weekend because they got to get those last four interviews out. Now it was a report out there that Ben Johnson was trending to go to the Commanders. If that's the case, we might lose out on him. It was reported that Bobby Slowick definitely had a great interview. The first interview he had, virtually with the Atlanta Falcons. So they was really impressed about him. That's good. I really like what Bobby Slowick was able to do this year with CJ Stroud. I seen somebody mention that, if he does become the head coach, right, he can bring in his quarterback's coach to be the offensive coordinator, right? That would definitely, go a long way to try to keep the continuity in his coaching staff. The biggest question I have with him, who's going to be his defensive coordinator? Because you guys recall we did lose Ryan Nielsen yesterday to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we can't afford to take a step back on defense. The way this defense played this year, we want to see those guys getting even better. We do not want to take a step back. That's why I think that was a big loss for Ryan Nielsen, depending on who you bring in to be the next head coach for these Atlanta Falcons. That's why I'm leaning towards the defensive guy. I know our offense has been bad, and we need to fix the offense hands down. But if we don't solidify who our next defensive coordinator is, we're going to go back to our old ways, right? We don't want to do that, right? That's one good thing we can say about the Atlanta Falcons this year was the defensive side of the ball. And if we decide we take a step back on the defensive side because we're going out and trying to fix the offense, that's not what I want, and I don't think you guys want that either. So hopefully, whoever they are bringing in, offensive, defense, they have a plan to make sure this defense stays where it's at, and then let's see, can we corral this offensive side of the ball. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm definitely hoping. Ron said, if McKay got more to say than Terry, I resign because LFall is going to be to blame, and truly the organization is becoming a shit show because of McKay subordinates, and that's the point I'm making. The point I'm making why I did this interview, because at the end of the day, Rich McKay is not going to lose his job, right? The two guys that's going to be held accountable for the failures of the Atlanta Falcons is the general manager and the coach. And if that's the case, let them make the decisions. At the end of the day, the owner get to make decisions, right? He's the end all be all who he hires as his head coach. That's where the buck should stop. It should stop and start with the owner. I 100% understand that, because it's his organization. He decides who he wants to be the face of the organization. But at the end of the day, you hire somebody to be the face. You hire them to put the best product on the field, right? That's what you're asking to do. You asking your general manager to go out and get the groceries, collaboration with the coach, and then you asking the coach to actually go out and cook. That's what you want. That's what you want. If that's the case, let these guys run it. And if you got a shadow GM in the back, and not like, once again, I'm not saying this the case, but if it is the case, because it's reporting that's the case, that's not good business. And I'm just leaving it at that. Where it's time for AB to become Jerry Jones and be the boss. He don't want to see, and that's the thing. He don't want to be in the mix. Like who it was I'm trying to remember who said it. They was with yes on ESPN. He said when he went to the Ravens, right? He said he probably seen the owner twice in the season, right? The owner stayed out of the way. That's what the owners do. They stay out of the way. They let the coach and the GM run the show, right? And then if it don't work at the end of the year, it'd be like, you fired. That's how it should be. If you're going to meddle, you're going to put yourself in it. You're going to have what you got in Dallas, where the owner dictates everything. He do more interviews than the head coach, man. He talks more about the teams, the schemes, and all kind of crap than the head coach does, right? I don't want that from Arthur Blank, but I do want him to be able to make decisions and say, I'm putting this team in your hands. Coach, GM, it's on you. That's what we want. That's what I'm talking about. And they said that they was going to take their time, not rush in the hiring next head coach, and they was going to give every candidate a chance to interview before they make their decision. This is true. This is one of the most, and you have to respect this. I do respect this about the Atlanta Falcons organization. This is one of the most extensive searches I ever seen in a in a coaching search. Only problem I have with it is that it's 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 too broad in my opinion. Like it's almost like they don't know what they're looking for. Because when you interview these many people, you don't know what you're looking for, right? Like you had all these first time interviews, right? And now you're going to interview all of them a second time. Like it should be like, okay, we had first interviews. Now we're going to narrow it down to like 3 or 4 guys for our second interviews. But it seemed like they're giving everybody a second interview. It almost is almost like they don't know what they want. That's what it seems like to me. I just that's the only concern I got about it, because like if you got that many people that you comfortable and you think could be the head coach, you don't got nobody. that's what it seems like. They're interviewing a lot of people, and then they interviewing a lot of people second time. Like, wow, man, you gonna interview everybody twice? Like, I don't know. That's all I'm saying. Like, so everybody impressed the first time, right? So you're gonna get everybody a second interview. It seems to me, it just seemed like, do we really know what we want our next head coach? Like before the search started, you should be like, these are things that we want in our next head coach for the Atlanta Falcons, right? And then you lay those out, and then when you do your interviews, the first one you like, okay, he hit these wickets, but it seemed like they got like 100 wickets because all these coaches with all different backgrounds all getting second interviews. So I don't know. I think they're going to have a second interview with all the candidates they interviewed the first time. That's what it looks like. Like I said, that to me, that's insane. Because you got too many, man. You like, how can you even remember all these guys and what their points was and how they're gonna build this team? Like it's crazy. Why do you think the Chargers want Jim Harbaugh so bad? He's the best coach out there. Yep, some people say he's a good candidate. He has the track record to prove it. That he can get it done. Millie Mills says, for kind of the thing is, you see in these coaches candidates going into next year, Ritter at the quarterback, Slovic might look at Ritter and say, I can make him good too. I hope that's not what he said. I hope that maybe he can say that, but he was like, but we're definitely going to go. My vision is to go get a quarterback. I hope that's, yeah. I mean, I'm glad. I like his his confidence that he can help Ritter and do things. But Ritter problem is he make too many turnovers. I don't know if you can coach that. How can you coach that? Right? It's no coach telling guys to go out there and throw the ball to the other guy. No coach telling the guy they can't throw the ball deep. Like those kind of things is you either got it or you don't got it. And we found out in these 17 games you really don't got it. So I hope he has that confidence in his coaching ability and things like that. But I hope he also saying that we're going to go out and get our quarterback for the future, because we don't think he can be. Because I can tell you right now, man, it'd be a miserable season for me if Atlanta Falcons hire a Slovic or a Johnson, and these guys say we're gonna fix Desmond Ritter. Like, okay, like, are you serious, man? That would be insane. So don't put those bad vibes in the air. Please don't. They'll just put coaches on the 4-year contract, and if they lose, just don't resign them like the players. See that this is where I go back to, they didn't do Arthur Smith right. and this is the point now where I'm like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You gave Arthur Smith 3 seasons, and now you don't know what you want in your coach. Like, whatever, man. And I don't know if you guys heard, it's like 7 teams looking to hire Arthur Smith as their offensive coordinator. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Arthur Smith goes to the New Orleans Saints because they need offensive coordinators. That'd be funny. That'd be so funny. And then he had that team humming, and we'd be like, "What the hell?" That'd be hilarious, man. It'd be so funny to me if that was to happen. But 17 reportedly is actually looking at Arthur Smith, be their next offensive coordinator. And I believe the Atlanta Falcons did Arthur Smith wrong. I still say that to this day. They gave him 1 season, and that's why, in my opinion, they go out and get another young coach. Like, they set him up because they expecting this young coach to hit the ground running. Like, because like we gave you the team, we want you to get this team to the playoffs, right? With a harder schedule, first-time head coach, don't know who the quarterback is, right? That's what you're asking this brand new first-time head coach to do, is to take this team and get it where Arthur Smith wasn't able to do in 3 seasons, but you want him to do it in the first season. I don't understand that, but you make it make sense to me. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't know why a lot of you guys so sold on these brand new coaches, man. I don't get it. It's the same thing to me. It's like just wash and repeat. Like, we're doing the same crap over again. Like, I don't like it. I'm sorry. That's just me. And we're not the only team that have not made a decision yet, because there are 3 other teams doing the same thing. Yeah, but it's not like the Atlanta Falcons or the Carolina Panthers, man. Carolina Panthers, they got issues. And, coaches, it's really hard decision for coaches to go to the Panthers. The Chargers like they honed in on one guy pretty much. They want Jim Harbaugh. That's what they're leaning towards, right? I agree with you. The other teams, but we already knew this was going to be the case, right? Because, believe it or not, this was the first week they could actually interview guys in person this week. So I'm not even talking about the fact that it's taken a long time, because they couldn't hire anybody to this week anyway, because if they're interviewing coaches that's still on the staff, they had to wait to this week to do that. So I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the amount of guys they're interviewing. That's, to me, that's like they don't know what they want. All it tells me that they fired Arthur Smith out of anger, for real, unless they are smoke screens and Bill Belichick's already here and just no official word yet. I don't know. I have no idea what this is. This if I'm gonna put it like this: if Bill Belichick is gonna be the next coach for the Atlanta Falcons, this is the dumbest, bigger waste of time that Atlanta Falcons have done the last 2 weeks. Right? It just is. You bring all these coaches in, and if you already knew you were gonna hire Bill Belichick, why are you playing these games? So I don't, at this point, I don't think it's going to be Bill Belichick anymore. If it is, like, it's ridiculous. They're just wasting everybody's time. They're requesting all these second interviews with all these coaches, and if you already knew you were going to hire, but you already talked to him last Friday, so if you were sold on him, you thought he was going to be the guy, right? I don't care about giving all these guys an opportunity and things like that. If you want him to be the coach, you would have just made him the coach, right? I think they already did their 2, minority interviews in person, so they could have already, said we got our guy and sealed the deal. But if they're going with the idea, we're going to just interview everybody. I don't think they made a decision yet, and that's where I think they're at right now. So I don't think they have decided on the coach yet. I think they really don't know. That's what I think. What's going on, Ricondo? I'm here watching the announcement on the coach. Will be tomorrow. It will be Bill Belichick. Chargers are hiring Jim. I don't think, like I said, I just don't believe it's going to be the case. I think they're going to, if it does come this week, it'll come on Friday or Saturday before the championship games. But if it doesn't come by then, it'll be next week, and it might be one of the coordinators that's going to, that's in the NFC and AFC championship games this week. Because you have some people thinking that Arthur Blank probably rushed and hired Arthur Smith too quick, and now they're taking their time to make sure they get the best candidate. Why do they think they hired Arthur Smith too quick? Because it didn't work. See, that's the thing. If you go back and look, because we always tend to live in the moment, right? That's the way the society is now. It's the microwave society. Everything is instant. So we live in the moment, and this guy is the next best thing, or this guy, you never seen nothing like this before. This is the greatest thing like this, right? That's where we're at right now, right? So, but if you go back and look, or this guy's the worst person in the world, he sucks, he do all this. But if you go back and look, when the Falcons hired Arthur Smith, it was a great hire. That's what the reporting was. It was a great young coach that was really brilliant on the offensive side of the ball. A guy that had built his way up from being a intern coach all the way up to being an offensive coordinator. It was a great hire. That's what the reporting was when we hired Arthur Smith. Now you come here in the present 3 years later, everybody's saying it was a bad hire, right? But at the time, it wasn't considered that, right? That's so like, I get it. Everybody's living in the moment right now and saying it was a bad hire. At the time, it was not a bad hire, and I don't think it was complete anyway, because you only gave him one season to prove himself, right? The first 2 seasons didn't count. You only gave him one season to prove himself, so I don't even think it was fair to fire him in this year. But he did it to himself. The dude had a terrible season. I understand the reason he was fired, but like, so quick to say that it was a bad hire with Arthur Smith and things like that. Okay, like, I get it, but at the time, nobody said that. Nobody. It was a good hire. The same thing with Dan Quinn when he got hired. It's a good hire. That's what everybody was saying. And then everybody's going to be so happy when we sign one of these young hot coordinators this season as well. If we sign a young hot coordinator, everybody's going to be blown away. Like Bobby Slowick, right? 1 year as an offensive coordinator. 1 year. And he did such a great job with CJ Stroud. And everybody's going to be so blown away because it's a microwave society. He has really no experience being head coach. Now, it could turn out that he turns out to be really, really good, because that happens. But everybody's going to be like, yes, we got a guy, because look what he did to CJ Stroud. He's going to be able to do the same thing with our quarterback, right? That's what we said with Arthur Smith. Look what he did with Derrick Henry, and not all that talent he had. And look what the talent we got on Atlanta Falcons now. And he couldn't replicate it. So I'm not all up on the instant oatmeal, instant grits. Like, they're gonna be, we don't know what they're gonna be, right? And I don't know if because Bobby Slowick did good with CJ Stroud in one season, he's going to be able to translate that into Atlanta Falcons. That's, to me, that's up in the air, right? I don't care if Ben Johnson had the top 5 offense 2 years in a row, right? Can he do that with Atlanta? I don't know. And how our defense going to look with him as our head coach? Like, those are the kind of questions I care about. And so, because they don't have a track record as head coaches. And I'm to the point, I don't want a new coach. I'm sorry. I'm just fed up with it. With that being said, they hire one of these coaches, I will be behind them 100%. So, because I am a real Falcon fan. Ride or die, man. I ride with them till the wheels fall off. Okay, Rakona, whom do you want as coach? I wanted Gary Kubiak for the Falcons. I already told you guys. I'm all in, man. I'm all in. Go for the GOAT. I'm all in. That's me. That's where I'm at. Like, if we're gonna fail, I already failed with the guy that won 8 Super Bowls. That's what I want, right? And then you can't blame the organization for going that way, right? You can it just didn't work. That's what I say. But if they pick him, if it don't work, it just didn't work. But so that's just me. I'm ready for a change. I don't want to go down this hot new young coach again. I'm sorry. Let another team pick that guy. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. That's where I'm at. So, like, if he doesn't get hired, if we hire one of these young guys, it is what it is. But he was my pick. So, there you go. The culture comes with Bill Belichick. Simple as that. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. It'll be a culture shock in the organization. It'll be a complete culture shock, man. Right? I mean, think about it. Bill Belichick doing film sessions, call out Tom Brady about the throws he made. Right? He held everybody accountable. Everybody. Even the quarterback. That's how these guys need to be coached, right? No catering. Call them out. They need a culture shock. That's just me. That's where I'm at with it. Maybe because I'm an older guy, right? I'm in my 40s. I don't want to see a brand new guy again. I'm sorry. I'm tired of it because we get so, like I said, we so high because I was that guy too. I just thought the way he led that Tennessee offense, I just thought he was going to be able to translate that. The same thing with Dan Quinn. It's like, man, look at the Legion of Boom, right? Think about it. Legion of Boom. Peyton Manning had 55 touchdowns. 55 touchdowns. And the Legion of Boom shut Peyton Manning down in the Super Bowl. He had 55 touchdowns in the season. The Legion of Boom shut him down. He was like, man, we want that coach. We want that coach that led that defense. Dan Quinn got over here, our defense in the bottom half for all his years and so 1 year, and that was in 2017. So all his years that Dan Quinn was here, the defense sucked, straight up sucked. It didn't translate at all because guess what? You gotta have players, right? He didn't have the players in Atlanta, right? But guess what? He picked the players. He picked Tad McKinley. He picked him, right? That's who picked. He picked Tad McKinley. He picked Vic Beasley. Right? He picked those guys. Right? He had the final 53. Arthur Smith did. And guess what? Then it didn't work out. So that's why I feel the way I feel about it. I don't want to go down there. I'm tired of going down that road. That's just me. So if we do fail with 2 years with Bill Belichick. Do you blow up the roster now? Yeah, man. At this point, if the GOAT can't fix us, we might be cursed. Or he could just be past his time, man. Like I hear a lot of people saying that. Maybe he is past his time. Maybe, this these players in this generation just not, good for him. That could be the case. I, it's never 100% a sure thing with anybody you bring in, right? I mean, just like I said, Bobby Slowick could come in and be the best thing that be ever. All these coaches had to have a first time. So I'm not saying that a first time coach can't do it, because all these coaches had to get their first time opportunity to get their feet wet, right? Bill Belichick went to the Browns, he went to the Jets, right? Before he found pay dirt with the Patriots, right? And he drafted this young guy in the 6th round that with a starting quarterback get injured, and that's how history, right? That's how history get made. So that's what happened with Bill Belichick. So first time head coaches definitely have opportunity to be successful. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that when you have one of the best coaches ever on the market during the hiring cycle, and he wants to coach for your team, what do you got to lose? That's all I'm saying. So that's where I'm at with it. If he wasn't on the market, hey, let's ride and die with one of these guys. But he only interviewed with one team, so obviously he want to be the coach of Atlanta Falcons, right? So he feel like he can fix us. I think he can too. Or nobody else been able to do it over these years. So if Atlanta passes on Bill, the football god will curse the Falcon for all time. See, this just me. I'm gonna tell you right now. You think we the laughing stock? Let us pass on Bill, then we suck this season. I mean, go back to that viral video when we didn't go after Lamar, and everybody said Atlanta Falcons don't want to win. They're not a winning franchise. How you don't want Lamar Jackson? You remember that? I know you guys remember that. Even though we didn't have a chance to get Lamar Jackson, we all know this, right? Baltimore Ravens was not gonna let him out the door. It was gonna match any offer, right, that Lamar Jackson got from any other team. They was gonna do that. We know this. We all know this, right? They was gonna match it. So, right, so but at the end of the day, we still get blamed for it, right? And what I'm telling you guys, it's just the way I look at it. Bill Belichick is out there. One of the all-time winning coaches. Ain't nobody can say he can't coach. If anybody's saying that he can't coach, you just being a hater. That's just about right. And if you want to use the quarterback, but name a head coach that didn't have a good quarterback that really succeeded a lot. It's not a whole bunch of coaches. So if you want to put his whole career on these last 3 seasons, by all means do that, right? I can't help he coached with Tom Brady for 20 years. It is what it is. He had a good coach good quarterback for 20 years. So I mean, he was fortunate, to create all those wins because he had a great quarterback. I mean, same thing can be said when Bill Walsh had, Joe Montana, right? When Steve Young was there, right? You look at, if you got good coach, you got good quarterback play, coach is gonna be successful, right? If you don't have good quarterback play, coach look like crap, right? I mean, ask Arthur Smith. So that's what happens. If he's out there, he want to coach your team. And going back to my earlier point, if the reason you don't want to hire him because it's some kind of structure in the front office, and it has nothing to do with football, that's not good business, and you're making a mistake. That's the reason why you don't want to hire him, because of that. So if it has nothing to do with football, what I mean by football, if he wants to come in and he I want to control everything. Yeah, I don't know about that. Like, I like Terry Fontenot. I like the personnel decisions he made. So if he's willing to work with the general manager, hey, let's do this. Let's make it happen. Right? That's just me. Right? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm being a salesman now, guys. I'm all on board. Right? I'm being a salesman. That's like, and if they hire another coach, I come on here and I'll talk glowingly about the new coach. So I'm not going to come on and be like they got it wrong and things like that. I'm not going to. That's not who I am. Like I said, whoever the new coach is, I'm being behind him 100%. But since we don't have a head coach, I'm selling Bill Belichick, right? So that's what I'm doing right now. And if he become the head coach, man, let's let it happen. I agree with Arthur Smith was the best hire at the time, and coaches are just like players; they're either hit or miss, 100%. That's 100%. That's why I don't like the fact and that's the only reason I don't like the fact that people saying that he made a bad decision with Arthur Smith. No, he didn't. He did not. He was one of the best coaches at the time. He was a great hire, right? His track record spoke for itself, based off what they were looking for. It was really good. Like, so he was not a bad hire. So that's the point I'm making. And guess what? Any of these coaches they get that's in the coaching cycle right now will not be a bad hire. So they all have good resumes, right? It's no coach except Brian Johnson. I don't know why they interviewed Brian Johnson from the Philadelphia Eagles. I didn't understand that interview, right? I did not understand that one. That was the only one outlier that didn't really understand the decision to bring him in for an interview. But every other coach that they have interviewed has a good track record and really would not be considered a bad hire. They would not be. So that's what I'm saying. Now, best hire is a whole different story, right? That's what I'm saying. I mean, you can poll anybody. They were like, who the best two coaches in the hiring cycle right now? And they're gonna say Jim Harbaugh and Bill Belichick, right? And one of them wants to coach for your team. That's where I'm at. Didn't Bill Belichick make the playoffs the first year? Brady, he did. You are 100% right. He made the playoffs the first year. People forget about that. He did. He did. He actually did. And go back and look. Just go back and look. 3 games this season, his defense didn't even give up 10 points. 3 games this season alone, his defense didn't even give up 10 points. He can still coach, man. He can still coach. I'm just saying, he can still coach. So, and we don't know if Arthur Smith and Bill had to talk about them going through all the candidates before they make decision, and Bill is probably okay with that. Yeah, I like, at the end of the day, let's be honest. At the end of the day, they could still be talking to Bill Belichick right now, getting his staff and all that stuff organized, who he's going to bring in, what coaches he might keep on the staff. All that stuff could be behind the scenes, right? And we sit here, making all these, assumptions and things like that. Like, we really don't know. So like we don't know, man. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Just like I came in here and I talked about Rich McKay. We don't know what Rich McKay has promised or not promised. It was report out there, and that's why I'm talking about it. But we don't know how true that report is. We don't know how accurate it is. So I did want to say, I'm not saying that's the reason why, coaches might not want to come to Atlanta, because of Rich McKay is the the shadow GM, and he has the the era of Arthur Blank, and he's going to help make the decision because he wants him to be the coach and stuff like that. I don't know, right? And at the end of the day, you're right. They could already have everything set up, and Bill Belichick just sit back and wait because optics are something important too. And Atlanta Falcons just make it look like they did one of the most extensive searches that they could do looking for their head coach, and then end up with the first guy that they had the second interview with, a week ago. So that could be where we end up, and that's how the cookie will crumble. I'm sorry, but Arthur Smith was trash. It's time for the Falcons to hire someone with head coaching experience. See, that's where I'm at. John, me and you on the same page, man. We on the same page. Let's hire somebody with head coaching experience. Can we do that? Can we at least go back to Dan Reeves? Right? Dan Reeves got us to a Super Bowl, man. Like let's go back. Like somebody that been a coach that has the experience, right? That's what I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Maybe it might be Raheem Morris. We did get a word that he did interview today with the Atlanta Falcons. There's no word on that it's completed. So like if there's no word, I mean it could be still going on, and that's a good sign for Raheem, right? I wouldn't be upset with Raheem Morris either. Like I said, same time, just second time around, you learned a lot. He was a young coach. He learned a whole lot about the things, the do's and don'ts. He can lead a franchise. He already proven that. He has the familiarity with the front office here with the Atlanta Falcons. So it's so much that we can say about a Raheem Morris coming in. I wouldn't be upset with that hire. And he does have head coaching experience. So he's not my first pick, of course, but I wouldn't be upset with that. I would be interested to know, who's going to be his defensive coordinator, who's going to be his offensive coordinator, his staff. That'd just be interesting to me. He has been with Sean McVay. He was here with Kyle Shanahan. So does he like that style offense? What would his vision be, for quarterback? All that kind of stuff. We'll get into that once, if he get hired. But I wouldn't be upset with a guy like Raheem Morris. Because at this point, we just have to wait, and we don't know where their information is coming from out there. And not in, yeah, exactly. It's a lot of speculations going on, man. Always though, like sometimes when you hear stuff that comes out, because some of these guys you have to be careful where you get your information from. But what I was reporting, I came all day. I got Zach Klein, who's a guy, and Jim Schultz. Both of those guys are reporters in Atlanta, so they do have a little insight, what's going on with the franchise. Probably not, 100%, but they do have a little insight on that. So that's where I got that information from today. But McKay and Bill Belichick already had a little beef. Yes, they did. Yeah, and then because he was on the competition committee. We know about this, so it could be like the thing is bringing in Bill Belichick probably was all Arthur Blank. It probably had nothing to do with Rich McKay. But the owner, he can bring in who he want to bring in. So, so we'll just have to see at the end of the day. Yes, that coach Dan Reeves, he came from Tunnel Infantry, and Gary Kubiak, right? Go and say it, John. I know that's what you want to say. Yeah, man. Yeah, guys, that's it. I've been here an hour and 10 minutes. Didn't realize I was going to actually come in here and rant that long about Rich McKay, and of course my selling job, trying to sell all the Falcon fans on bringing in Bill Belichick. Um, because I know it's a lot of people out there, looking for a young, talented offensive coordinator to come in. And I get it. I understand the offense was terrible this year. And we have so many offensive weapons, and you can, imagine, what a good offensive coordinator come in and do. But that's what I'm saying. Just get a good offensive coordinator. For it be the head coach, we need a head coach. That's what I'm talking about. Because the guys you're excited about, they was offensive coordinators. They weren't head coaches. So you can find a good offensive. You can find a good offensive coordinator, man. You just got to just make sure you deliberate about it, what you want to get out your offense, and bring that guy in, right? We need to make sure we have a quarterback coach and things like that. But I'm talking about a head coach, and that's what I want. I want a head coach. That's what I'm looking for. So, hopefully we get it soon. We're gonna talk about this probably for another week, man. That's what it's looking like. We'll probably be, talking about this another week. Every day. Some more news, right? Because eventually the dominoes will start to fall in with the other organizations as well. Of course, just like Wallace mentioned, the other teams haven't hired a coach yet, so it's time to actually, it's not like we're behind the power curve as yet, but as the week go, I'm assuming that some of these guys are gonna start falling off, right? Like, hopefully not none of the guys we interview, right? Like, they can go ahead and snatch Dan Quinn off the market if they want to, right? They can have him. They can have Brian Johnson. I don't know why we interviewed him in the first place. But all the other guys potentially be a good candidate for us. So you don't want to get the second fiddle, right? So if you got a guy in mind that he's, top on your board, and you kind of wishy-washy, you might want to go ahead and pull the trigger for somebody else, because if he impresses you, he probably impressed somebody else as well. And if you're saying, I think he's the guy, and then you let him do a second interview before you get yours, you might miss out. So those are the things that, Atlanta Falcons definitely need to be wary of, and make sure that they get their guy in the building before somebody else was able to snag him up. Because look at Jim Harbaugh. He was reportedly supposed to do another interview with the Falcons this week, but the Chargers are hot and heavy on him, and he might decide to go ahead and sign the deal. That would be out of luck. What time of days you come on the air? I come on around 7, John. Usually by around 7:15. Just look for just hit that notification so you'll know when I put it out. Today was an impromptu, because what I wanted to do, I wanted to come on and I wanted to just talk about Rich McKay, because all the noise is going on about this, and it just irked me, because I'm like, if he's the reason why people ain't going to come as a coach, that's not good business sense. It's not good organization to get where we want to go. So that's why I came on today. But usually I come on Mondays and Wednesdays. But this week it might be more frequent because of all the news we're getting. So just put the notification bells on for you'll know when I come out. But usually if I do come out, it's always going to be around by 7:15. So that's usually when I come out. But I know you're ready to see the head coach is going to be, and we have just to be patient and let it run its course. I know, man. Hey, you're right. This has been the longest head coaching search ever, man. It is, and I guess I'm just antsy, man, because I don't know who it's gonna be. Like, when you interview 15 different people, it's like, damn, who in the hell is gonna be the coach, man? Like, that's a wide search. It's huge. It's wide. Like it's all the spectrum, right? They defensive line coach, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinators, right? You got 2 head coaches, 3 head coaches, because we haven't interviewed Mike Vrabel yet either. So like it's just such a wide search, and it don't know who's going to be. We just got to sit here and wait. It's exciting at the same time and make you anxious too. So, all right. I got a lot of content I want to talk about, man, after the head coach. So I can't even talk about it yet because I don't want to get into it and then be trying to guess, what I think whoever the coach is going to be is going to do with all these decisions they got to make, right? So, like it's like the trade package. Like if whoever the coach be, will we try to trade for Justin Fields, right? This is the thought, right? If they decide to keep Justin Fields, do we try to trade up and go get a Caleb Williams, right? Do we go get a Kirk Cousins, right? Do we go get him or Russell Wilson, right? Once he get cut, because more likely he's going to get cut, right? Do we make those decisions and get any of those guys? Those kind of things that we don't really know because we kind of figure out who the coach going to be and what we think his vision be. We first hear that first press conference, we're starting to get a little idea about their vision, what kind of culture this team going to be, what he thinks about the team and things like that. That's where we can start kind of getting a gauge, right? On this team. That's where it is, right? Some of the personnel department is already getting ready for the Senior Bowl, right? It's not. It's right here, right? It's ready to go. So these are some of the things that we definitely going to be talking about here. This off season before the season get kicked off. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. Do the Falcons finally go defense in the first round, right? Can we find the edge rusher if we get him in the draft, or are we going to get him in free agency, right? Those are the kind of things I can't wait to talk about with you guys. So just stand by. Let's just like Wallace said, I guess we need to be patient and see who is going to end up being. And Wallace says, but I still think it's going to be Bill. It's supposed to interview Vrabel tomorrow in person. There you go. Maybe they get with Vrabel, ask him what about Bill. I'm hearing Galveston, Texas going crazy, waiting on the Falcons to coach announcement. You ain't the only one, brother. We all waiting. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Oh, I like you. That's see, we got Falcon fans all the way in Galveston, man. That's awesome. It's awesome. And they say we didn't have a fan base, right? We might not get a lot of media attention, but I can promise you, it's a lot of Falcon content creators out here putting out good information. A lot of passionate fans. I mean, passionate fans be upset, going back and forth and all that kind of stuff, which is great, man. That's one thing about fandom, right? We love it. So that's good. The Bill Belichick become the head coach, he would not start a rookie quarterback. I kind of agree with that. I think, but that don't mean we can't draft a rookie quarterback. So let's just put it in perspective, because you don't have to start him, but he can still draft him, right? Because we can go get a Kirk Cousins for 2 seasons, let the rookie learn behind him, right? We can do something like that. So that's the way that I'm looking at it. Like, just because you don't start the rookie quarterback, you still don't mean you don't have to draft him. So that's what it said. So guys, thank you guys for once again coming out. Like I said, impromptu interview. What's going on, Mike? What's going on, man? Appreciate it, dog. Right. Impromptu, video that I came out with today. Be on the lookout for the next one. Cut those notification bells on, because it could drop anytime, especially if we get it higher. We'll talk about the interview, second interview, things like that, and see who potentially heating up. Do we trade for Dak or Tua? Hell no, we don't trade for Dak or Tua. I disagree with that, because he did draft Mac Jones and started him as rookie. Great point. That's a great point. That is a great point. So He does. You're right. He broke a trend. That's right. He did. He did. All right. Thanks, Wallace. All right, guys. That's all I had today. Thank you guys coming in once again, kicking it with me, talking to the Falcons. Everybody, we get to put our frustrations out because they haven't picked the coach yet. We don't know who it's gonna be. So that's all I have. This is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.